So today we're going to be taking a look at another comic pack, and that is Ysanne Isard, or Isard, and Baron Soontir Fel. And Isard here is based on the X-Wing series, and Baron here, he's a character that comes in and out during the time of that transition after Palpatine's death and into the New Republic. And it's a great comic pack overall. It is one of the very last ones that was released. And at the time it was an Entertainment Earth exclusive, along with the Delia Blue and Darth Nil pack that is also extremely expensive. This one's still a fairly affordable pack. I actually got this for like $20 in free shipping about 5 or 6 years ago at this point. So if you're looking to add more officers for your collection, this is definitely still an affordable pack to get, and they're both unique characters. And if you didn't know already, Isard is actually what my channel is based upon with my profile picture as well. I think she's one of the most unique characters in the expanding universe. I really like reading about her story, and I also like that she has a unique design. Not too often we see an Imperial uniform that's scarlet in color. And I think she's a very interesting character, very evil woman in a lot of ways, but I like reading about her, and I wish that we got a lot more content about her, and I think she's kind of been a forgotten character in the expanding universe in a lot of ways. She's overshadowed by Thrawn a little bit. She's wedged in between that time of after Palpatine's death and into Thrawn. So basically the storyline goes that Palpatine dies, and then one of his dignitaries, State Pistage, takes over, and then you have Operation Downfall or Overlord, I think it was, that Isard instigated, and then she became basically Empress of the Galactic Empire at this point. And she fumbled a lot, unfortunately, in the X-Wing series, and then eventually it leads to her exile. And then a couple novels later, she ends up coming back. And there's also a clone of her that shows up in a novel at some point. I think she dies, in the story, she dies around the age of 48. And she's also the one that initiated the Bacta War, which was basically she let a plague go loose on Coruscant. So when the New Republic came in, they had a plague to deal with. And she also, her personal superstar destroyer was the Lusankya, which was a prison ship, and Lusankya also translates into Lubankia, the Russian term for prison, which makes sense. But anyways, I do not have the package to show you, but what I can show you is the comic book that came with this pack. I really liked the art at the time. These characters are based upon, or they came out during the time of like the mid-90s or so, and I really like the art from that time. Really miss how Star Wars was back in like the mid-90s and early 2000s, up into the mid-2000s. Lots of iconic art and stories out there. This was comic number 29, a Dark Horse comic. And I'll show you a little bit of it. Nice image of Isard there, training. It's kind of loosely based on the custom that I also have reviewed on my channel, in the battle armor. Very cunning woman though. She wasn't really meant to lead the Empire based upon how her story is written. And the reason why she has a scarlet red uniform is that she was the director of Imperial Intelligence, and the intelligence officers wore the red uniform. Her father was the director of Republic Intelligence, in the expanding universe at least, and she ended up replacing him. I think she may have had him killed actually. I think this comic is based upon the time just before she commits to the operation to overthrow State Bastage. I think I think that's him right there, or it's supposed to be him. And some final images there of Isard. Very nice image there. And some advertising. I miss seeing a lot of these advertisements in the comics as well. And I really miss the Legacy collection. I have most of those action figures. And I do have that HK-47. We just got so many cool characters at the time in the Legacy collection. Another advertisement for another comic. So anyways, we'll take a look at the action figures. There's really not a whole lot of newness about them. They're unique, but they use a lot of reused tooling. About the only thing that's really new is the head sculpts, I think. We'll take a look at Isard first. My camera would focus here. So the body for her is reused from Juno Eclipse, and of course she has a new head sculpt. And yes, Isard does have one red eye and one blue eye. I forget what the scientific term for that is. It's a very nice scarlet red. Again, it's a very striking outfit. Something unique to add to your collection. For the face sculpt, at some angles it looks really good, and other angles it does not. Like if you look at it from this angle, it looks really, really good. But then if you look at it from other angles, like maybe this one, not so much. The way the eyebrow is raised, just certain angles it looks good and others it does not. The hairpiece is sculpted totally different from her head. I think a lot of people would now say that this is the Karen haircut. At the time that term wasn't coined yet. And I would say, based upon what I've read in the novel, that she is definitely a Karen. So in terms of the articulation, she does have a pretty good ball joint at the neck there. Can get a good range of motion out of that. And then she has a hinged shoulder, hinged elbow, and then a swivel wrist there. Has a swivel waist, and then swivel hips, and then hinged knees and hinged ankles as well. The only accessory she comes with is the standard E11 blaster that at the time we've gotten with so many stormtroopers. Nothing really special to tell about it. Not sure if her rank badge is accurate or not. Hasbro just repainted it since it was based upon Juno Eclipse. Then next we'll take a look at Baron here. So his tooling, as far as I know, it's an entirely new head sculpt, but the body is used off from the Death Star Trooper, and I believe Captain Nita from the Legacy Collection also utilizes this sculpt. Many Imperial officers end up using this sculpt, but I think the original was the Death Star Trooper that was released during the 30th anniversary collection, I think. There is another Baron action figure out there that was released during the comic pack era as well. I believe it was released in 2007, about 2 years prior to this. And he has an Imperial pilot uniform, which I think is totally unique action figure. I do not have that one to show you, unfortunately. But I might get it someday. Hope the camera focus a little bit. So anyways, in terms of articulation, has a pretty good ball joint at the neck there, has a good range. Good hinge at the shoulder there, goes way past 90 degrees. Then hinged elbow, goes about 90 degrees. Then swivel forearms. Then swivel waist and swivel hips. Then hinged knees and hinged ankles as well. In terms of accessories, again, he comes with just a standard E11. I never took the elastic band off of it. And then he also comes with this, basically a Rebel pilot, or it's probably a New Republic pilot's helmet at this point. And you can't take his cap off. Then put his helmet on like so. Seems kind of strange to me that you would be wearing the officer's uniform like this, but with a helmet. Maybe you had to make a quick escape or something. Interesting backstory about Baron as well. His son, Jag Fel, I believe his name was, ends up going on to marry Jaina Solo. So that's how those two families got united. And here's the cap itself, just a black piece, a little bit of silver detailing in it. But anyways, that's really all there is to say about these action figures. There's really not a whole lot of unique, special things about them. They are unique, as in, of course, the Scarlet Imperial uniform, and Baron has some interesting designs in his as well, with the black and red stripes there. Would I recommend this pack for your collection? I definitely would. Like I said, it's somewhat, or I think it's still a somewhat affordable pack. I got this in 2017 for $20 free shipping, which is extremely good for a comic pack these days, considering at the time they were released, it was like $13.99. It may have gone up a little bit since then, but you could always find them loose. I find that a lot of times they end up going for more loose, which is kind of odd. A lot of times action figures will do that, where for whatever reason it's more expensive to buy it loose than it is if you bought it brand new. And as I said, Isard is actually one of my favorite characters in the expanding universe, and what you see in my profile picture, just to spread some awareness about her character. I think she's a very important part of the expanding universe, and I wish she got a lot more stories than she has at this point. Her character really hasn't been written about so much since the late 90s, I suppose, at this point. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you found some value in it. There'll be a lot more reviews along the way, especially more comic pack action figures. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. And at the time of this recording, I just passed 50 subscribers, and I thank each and every single one of you for subscribing to the channel. And thanks for watching.